$100 a month of recurring revenue, new revenue every month. That's my goal for the next 2 years, so that we will be over $100,000 of recurring revenue a month.
Mm-hmm.
And then I want to like either hold or grow from there. But and so I want to kind of flip on lead generation activities, and I have really built my business to a significant place by referral, or people hearing me speak maybe is another place, right? Or they watch a live stream on Facebook and they reach out. um, I was thinking, like, where am I gonna where would be the first place to start? And I was like, well, okay, so you've got these existing clients, right, that I could review and see, make sure they're in scope. I think most of them are, because I do review my individual profitability. But I'm like, what could I offer as an upsell to them? I don't know if you guys have any ideas. um, and how like a great way to communicate to them um, a possibility of an upsell, or like how for it not to seem like I'm just trying to upsell, right? um, I have my new website that I could leverage, and I've got a new funnel kind of thing built. So I've got that, and I've got blog entries. So I'll do like a weekly promotion of a blog, which the call to action will be to book a call, right? Um, but I'm wondering if you guys have any ideas of I don't know, anything come to mind, or that upsell for existing clients that doesn't actually require a lot of time with me. Prefer it to require no time with me. But like I don't like I could easily reach out to some of them and offer them a monthly CFO call. But that's an hour of my time plus, right? Like I got to review the books and do the numbers and all that kind of stuff. So I'm just wondering, what does my little hive think about this?
I don't have it here, but I have a quote on my wall in my shed that Nikki said at some point, and it was something about like when you pay attention to the client's journey. Do you know what I'm talking about, Nikki? It's like when you focus on the client's journey, you're really able to help them more rather than in your own head what helps you most. And it just made me think, that always makes me think, like when you're doing a sales call, you like really ask them about what their problems are. So if you ask the question, how do I upsell without feeling salesy, right? Like you could just call and check in and see if they have questions that or problems that they need help solving. Like, hey,
Yeah.
I'm just doing some market research and just want to check in, and what are your struggles right now, and um, I'm looking to create some new revenue streams, and is there anything that we can help you with? I don't know. It doesn't, to
Totally.
me, that would be like, oh well, I already work with Michelle, she's super helpful, now she has a bookkeeper and the bookkeeper is looking for work. Well, you know what, actually I really could use some help with my medical billing, accounting. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good one. I could even say, like, are you up to date on your billing? Because we can easily do billing, right?
Invoicing, tracking down missed payments, whatever, what are those, especially for recurring payments.
Right.
Have that in my business, but if you had a membership, like Nikki, you probably have a certain number of accounts every month where the credit card gets denied. Someone's got to call and track down and get the new card, right?
Mm-hmm.
All of that stuff that could be something that your new employee could be helping with.
I think you could do just an intro. Hey, we're expanding. We've hired a new person. Here's her super skills, or here's her superpowers. If you know anybody who needs bookkeeping work, we now have the capacity. I mean, that's just a simple email that doesn't require a bunch of your time.
Okay.
Maybe. I mean, and then you also get to look like, oh, I'm successful and I'm expanding my team. And one thing I'm thinking of doing with my new assistant is doing like a FaceTime with some of my favorite clients and or my favorite agents, and just being, can you tell Anne's my new person, what you most appreciate about us? Because I just want them to think about what they most appreciate about a lender, or what they most appreciate about my business, to get them thinking of that, but also to let Anne know what is really important to agents. But you could maybe do a, hey, I want to introduce you to my new bookkeeper, so that they feel more comfortable with them, as a, I don't know. And people are more open to FaceTiming these days when they didn't used to be. And I didn't know you could do more than one person on a FaceTime. I just learned that last night. Yeah. You don't have to do Zoom. You can do multiple people as long as they have iPhones. But.
Interesting. What comes to mind for me, Michelle, because I'm trying to think of something that doesn't require necessarily your time, but that's something that would be a huge value to a client, that would be an upsell. To me, it's going to be something around data, providing some type of data to them. That it could be that it's the, if it's some type of a report of like, here's where you are tracking for the year. I mean, I know you and I go over my numbers, right? But if it was something where like, here's what you did last month, here's a breakdown of what you could do this month. So that's like one idea. But then the other thing that I was thinking about is, and I actually am a subscriber to this. Shane and Jocelyn put out this, they call it Membership Masters newsletter. They put it out every month. It's printed. I don't have one by me because I threw everything away when I moved. But it's like for the month, it's got all these suggestions of ways to like grow membership, right? And if you put something together where it was like ways to grow business or ways to bring in more revenue, would people subscribe to it? And
like as a paid thing? Is it a paid thing?
Yeah.
Oh.
So I think right now, I think he's charging like $197 a month for it. I got in on like a $59 a month deal. So now I'm kind of like, well, probably never cancel because, it's like I got such a good deal that I probably won't cancel because I'll never get it again. I'm just wondering if there's something around data that you could supply or suggestions that you could give, across the board to clients.
Well, even like it makes me think of like, I've talked to you about the Financial Foundations course. That could be broken down into a newsletter, right? Like, here's how to, here's how to read a P&L. Here's why you should read a P&L. Here's the main things you want to look at. And then I could even do like a video or something, I don't know, where I tell them, okay, so pull up your P&L now, and like, this is what is your number here? What is your number here? And this is what that would tell you, right?
Yeah.
That could be good. So you get it like in a printed format, like it arrives in the mail?
Yeah. So you can't get like past copies or any, like you don't get access to a database or anything with like the past suggestions, which I suspect is probably because next year he's going to send out a lot of the same stuff. You know what I mean? So you don't really have like a comparison unless you keep all those printed paper copies. Yeah. And I don't even read it every month, but I pay for it every month because the content in there is really good stuff. There's not a lot of fluff. It's not long. It's probably like 7 pages. I wish I had one. I probably have, like, there's probably one in the mail right now to me. I'll probably get it today.
Okay.
For September.
Okay, great. I love that idea.
It's like it's this huge new revenue source. It's like a whole nother membership because it's outside of what their membership is. As a matter of fact, he was trying to convince me to do it.
Oh.
Like to put out a weekly or a monthly.
Now I've got that information. We'll be talking about that tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, I like that. I like that idea. So right now, once month end is completed, they get a report, but it's a very basic report, right? It's their profit and loss to date and their last month snapshot. And I was thinking, what if we offered as like, this is what the basic is, and that's included, but if you want to upgrade and get more information, I could train my team in how to, just like I trained them on how to deliver that, I could train them on how to deliver more, like a more robust reporting.
I just think that's probably the more likely upsell that doesn't require your time. Because the other thing that I was thinking about for you is that you could handpick some of your like superstar clients and offer to put together a mastermind for them.
Mm-hmm.
But that does require time on your part.
Yeah.
But
And
you
I'm
don't
not
have to
against that.
coach. You don't have to coach in it. You could just mastermind for them. Like you're facilitating.
Yeah. Yeah, that's another thing I've been thinking about for the fall. Um, because I have a few people who are like, I really like when you bring groups of people together. Um, and like this has been really beneficial for me. So that's that's a good one too. And I have a bunch of about 10 clients that are finishing up in October. So I've got a bunch of free time.
So there you
So,
go.
okay.
Lots of ideas.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Welcome, Janet and Kristen. It's so nice to see you both. Well, Kristen, I can't see you, but I can see your cute picture.
We all need to say Kristen is awesome because she designed my website.
We were all checking out the website, Kristen. Amazing. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, thank you.
Amazing. Okay, so for Kristen and Janet, this is the mastermind. So we're doing 12-minute rounds. Kate has gone, but Kate's got some, this might be something for you and Janet to connect with just based on your question, Kate, if it's something you want to touch base with Janet about, because she's certainly got the expertise there. So who's next for their 12-minute round? So we still have Goldie, Janet, and Kristen to go. Who's next?
I'm not sure that I'm going to be able to go today.
Okay.
Just, my assistant is in the hospital. She just called me this morning. I am putting out fires.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I'm a little challenged today.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I respect that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, and it's not, I didn't expect this morning to be the way it is.
Yeah.
So I'm just really challenged.
Okay. Well, I'm happy that you're here. Stay for as long as you
Yeah.
feel comfortable. And if you
Yeah.
want to just listen, or if you decide
I'm
to.
just going to listen. I mean, if there's something I can do to contribute, but my brain is full right now.
Okay. That's fine. That's fine. All right, Goldie, you got anything going on? Oh,
Stable.
oh, you froze there. What did you say?
Yeah, I'm struggling with my connection this morning, as you can tell. I imagine it must have something to do. There's a new fire in our neighborhood. I don't have anything really that I'm looking for support with today either. I've sort of like Janet just been very overwhelmed by all the fires. Literally in the neighborhood.
Fires. I have
Literal.
imaginary ones.
Actual.
I don't know. Getting a call in the morning, I'm in the hospital, isn't very good.
No, it's a fire of a different kind.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
All right. Well, what else can we? How else can I support you guys this morning? What would support look like for you right now? You're also quiet.
Yeah.
I want to make sure you guys are getting the value of what you wanted by being in the group. And at the same time, I also respect that there's a lot going on. I will happily stay on the call. I understand if you're like, I'm kind of done. That's okay. You're welcome to, leave the call, but stay if you want to, and we'll just kind of see what happens from maybe from just a round robin discussion of like what's going on in business. What are some things that people are looking forward to? I guess I would ask the question, I would pose the question right now, thinking about where you are for the year, what is going to be the like big push for you as we kind of move into this last section of the year? What's going to be the big push? Does anybody have any ideas, things they're thinking about, things that they're feeling challenged by?
Well, one of the things I need to push by the end of the year is moving all of my clients over to the new client portal system. It's a big job, and I need to record some how-to videos, and the problem is it has to be on a day when I've taken a shower and have makeup on. So those days are few and far between lately. But
you have to actually be on camera for the do you have to
I don't, no, because I will be screen sharing, but I discovered that Cloud app, which is what I use, does have that kind of picture-in-picture thing.
Uh-huh.
So I'd like to use it.
Yeah.
Just kind of adds a little personal touch.
Yeah.
It's a small picture, so, I should still at least probably be dressed.
I mean, you only have to dress from here up, I find.
That's
right?
true. Yeah. Yesterday I was in my pajama shorts all day.
What you're doing below the screen, irrelevant. It's just what you're doing on screen that matters.
True.
Yeah.
But that's a focus of mine, and I don't really need any help or support with it. I just need to find the time to do it.
Okay.
I've been amazed at how much time it takes to get ready and out the door. As I've been time blocking, I'm like, I need to give myself way more than just 1 hour to get ready to leave. But I have to go somewhere, so it's a different situation.
Yeah, it is different. Now, Goldie has to be dressed from head to toe.
The nice thing is I typically just wear the same thing every day. Something with my logo, polo, and black pants. We're good.
There you go.
One thing that go ahead.
Michelle, you're muted.
Michelle's quiet.
Do you have the time scheduled in your calendar, Kristen?
Oh, me, no, because that would require far more organization than I have these days. But I should.
Right.
I absolutely should. You're right.
Because if you have it so when I look at my calendar the night before for the next day, I check to see what am I doing? Am I on camera with clients? Is it like a total kind of what I call kind of back office day where I can go in my gym stuff and I don't have to worry about makeup? And so I try to make sure I kind of bundle some things together. Like when I need to look good, I want to do all those things in one day.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And it just helps. It's part of my time blocking. That Fridays I don't see clients and I don't do any social media or anything like that, so Fridays are always days that it doesn't matter what I look like, right? And then if a client comes into the office, well, I'll close my door, my team can deal with it. Right? But that could help, right, in your time management, and then knowing when you do need to get ready and when you don't.
Yeah, no, it's a great idea.
And maybe blocking out that time too, like the shower time, the putting some makeup on. I have to do this all the time for content creation because I am forever creating some new masterclass. I keep wondering, why do I keep doing this to myself? but I have to block out time in my calendar because otherwise it starts to, like, it really stresses me out. So I know, like, next week I've blocked out like 2-hour chunks 3 times next week to work on content.
Mm-hmm.
And that helps, right? Because then that's time where I can, like, be really focused. So I would say when you know you have a project like this, like Michelle's saying, like, just block out some time on your calendar and then stick to it too. Like, that's the other thing, is making yourself do it. But
That's good. Thank you.
yeah. Janet, I don't know if you feel comfortable sharing the results of what happened when we talked last. You were getting things ready for the EO and that big, huge project. I don't know if you feel comfortable sharing with the group, so I don't mean to put you on the spot, but if you would feel comfortable, I'd love for you to share with the group what happened.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I am so grateful. The shipment for EO went out, entrepreneur organization. It's just kind of, a great opportunity to have my work seen by 58 business owners. So really knocked it out of the park in terms of, with fulfillment, usually just shove stuff in a box, but I lined the boxes with tissue paper and had everything individually polybagged and bubble wrapped things that needed to be wrapped and tied them with ribbons and tucked in a little quote card. And then I put a beautiful piece of tissue paper on the top and shipped it out with tape that was branded with their logo. And the response has been really positive. And apparently everybody was really knocked out. They were so delighted to receive these gifts. And I don't know what will happen, but I think it could be extraordinary. It could just be a game changer for me. And I'm just kind of on pins and needles waiting to see what will happen. But the product that I sent out was a rebrand for this organization. So it's the first time anybody's seen the new logo. And there was a woman who received her gift, and she happens to be on the board for the global launch of the brand. And she's like, who is this? Where did this come from? And I was hooked up with her. And basically, she's like, I've been looking for merchandising companies like yours for 2 weeks, and you are the best I have ever seen. And I am recommending you for the global rollout. So grateful, so grateful. She actually herself ordered from me last night, which I am incredibly grateful for. When I talked to her, she owns a branding company, and she does strategy. Her company is called Twin Engine. They do 2 different types of, they do business visioning and product visioning. It's interesting. But I said, well, you probably order product. She's like, we do. I said, great. What can I do to serve you? And she's like, oh, I need something right now. It's just small, but could you do 40 caps for me? I'm like, of course. So I got her order last night. And when I said to her, I was going to call EO and just, talk to them, because they were on copy for, who is this person? Where did this merchandise come from? We've never seen this quality. We've never seen this presentation. And so I said, well, I'm going to call EO. She goes, yes. Call them and tell them I told them that you should call. And if you don't have an answer from them by Friday, if they haven't called you, call me, because you earned this business. And she said, you're eligible for it because you're not a member anymore. If you were a member, you couldn't have the business, but you're not a member. So you should be able to earn this business. So she's bought from me, and I've had another chapter buy from me. And surprisingly, the person who ordered from me got so much positive feedback that he emailed all the presidents and said, okay, I'm ready to reveal my source. It's Janet McNaughton. And I would love for you to, give her your business. So that was really rewarding after putting that project together myself in the 89-degree heat, But so that was really rewarding. And I also secured the blog business from a client who wants me to write for her, which has totally been surprising and grateful. And my copywriter's doing it. And, you know, Michelle, you're like, how can I get work done that I don't have to do? So my copywriter's going to do it. And I would love to grow that business. We have a following for the articles that we write, and people just love them. And I'm so grateful for that. So I'm kind of like sitting here in this, I'm waiting for, you know, you can't wait, but, you know, I'm hoping that this EO thing is going to come through and just be a game changer for me, because each one of these presidents has their own company, plus they have a chapter of 100 to 150 people that they're consistently buying for. So it's just huge.
Wow.
So, but, you know, you did challenge me to do a couple of other things, like, you know, call all my clients from last year, which I kind of put on hold because everybody seems to be either on furlough or whatever. But I've been putting those through, and then I've got my list of people to call and ask, you know, who they might want to refer me to. So that was long. I'm a little bit, I'm very sad that Kristen is in the hospital this morning. I believe she's going to be released. I know she is, but I'm very sad because this is ongoing. You know what I mean? And I need a replacement for her. That's what I need. That's why I'm really upset. You know, and how do you have that conversation with somebody? It's like, your health isn't good enough to work. You know?
Yeah.
That's a tough conversation.
That is a tough conversation.
You know?
My suggestion for a possible resource for you, if that's okay, can I offer you a resource for this, like some of these tough conversations with employees? Would be Shelley Warren of Biz Chicks. She has a podcast called Stacking Your Team. She is, in my opinion, she's incredible. I think Goldie, you know Shelley pretty well too. I know Michelle knows Shelley. But she does the whole thing around how to hire, fire, and inspire your team, and the conversations. And she's probably got a podcast episode around, like, how do you let a team member know that, like, this is not the right position for them anymore. And, you know,
I mean, Kristen's so loyal. She's like, well, I'll be released this morning. I'll be working this afternoon. I'm like, oh, no, take the day off. She goes, no, I've got things to do. You need stuff. I'm like, oh.
yeah,
I do need stuff, but I need her to be well. And
yeah.
So, yeah.
It's a great.
So thank you for
resource.
asking. I'm sure that answer wasn't as succinct as you would like it to be. I'm just a little
Well,
frazzled.
thanks for sharing. I'm so excited. You know, you and I spoke a couple days ago, and you hadn't gotten that order yet for the cap, so that's super exciting.
Oh yeah, and other orders too from the presidents of different chapters. So
good.
Yeah,
things are going in.
Yeah, they're coming in. I want the big one though.
Yeah, of course. We all want the big one. Yeah. Goldie, what were you saying? You said something.
I was going to say Shelley's a great resource.
Yeah,
she's incredible. Who else? Somebody else have something they want to share, ask? What are you thinking about for your business for the next kind of, as we move into the last part of the year? I
have another win. I didn't.
Okay.
So you challenged me to do a webinar based on a blog that I wrote.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had people take appointments with me. And I got my first client out of that this week.
Congratulations.
Yes. Yeah. I got my foot in the door with Deloitte. So that was good.
Foot in the door. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I cold called this woman originally, and then she invited her to my webinar. She came, and then she consulted with me, and then she became a client.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Put that next one on your calendar.
Exactly.
All right, Goldie, I saw your hand go up.
Oh, I would just, you asked, what is the push for the end of the year? And I think one of the things I really need is more time away from patient care so I can work on the coaching business, and that will require me to scale and hire another chiropractor. So we had talked about that at the last call. Michelle, you gave me the advice of keeping the pay to 33% of the revenue generated, which to me just feels so low. But so just wrapping my head around all of that and how to my husband keeps telling me that I the last time I hired a doctor, I didn't have a contract and I had to work with an attorney to draft one. And so I have like templates of all of that, but he keeps telling me you get so focused on the contract, you really need to work on making sure you find the right fit person. And so maybe
Yeah,
this is a mastermind topic, but certainly
like
open.
the amount, if you want to get more detail with the amount, like you gotta, like I'd really need to understand the profitability of your business as a whole, like what is the overhead and stuff like that, to get to ensure that the percentage is accurate, right?
Yeah.
So it might not be 33%. That's what I'm
Okay. Well,
saying,
it's just
right? Like that's
it
kind
was
of like average, but
yeah.
Yeah, so figuring out the right person or the right like what are the characteristics of the person that you want on your team will be crucial, right? To bring in the right hire, because it's so expensive to not make the right hire.
Yeah.
And and then get yourself in a position of like, now what do I do? Do I fire the person? Do I, it's like all that stuff that goes on.
Right.
So really getting clear on what are the criteria and that you want this person to meet, and getting the job description written and being really clear as far as expectations. But I would really encourage you to think about what are some of the characteristics that you want. I know I did this a little bit with Kate. I've done this with Michelle. Michelle and I did this probably, I don't know, 2 years ago or maybe more, with the language and behavioral profile of like motivational traits. What are the things that that are going to be important? And so there are some questions that you can ask in the interview process to get an idea of what is this person's motivational trait in this context. So to see whether or not they're a good fit for you, like, are they proactive or are they reactive? How do they process information? Are they motivated towards something, or are they more motivated away from something? And knowing what are the things, because we don't necessarily want somebody who's just like you. That's probably not going to be the best fit, but you do want somebody who brings strengths to the team that maybe are not your best strengths, but it's going to like lift the whole team up by having this person. So be thinking about, there's the book that's the language and behavior profile comes from NLP, and that one process, somebody took that years ago, that one process, and built her whole business around it. Her name, I don't even know if she's still alive, Shelley Rose Charvet, and her book is Words That Change Minds. And the book has been like updated. It's had, newer versions come out over the years. So I don't know what the latest one is.
What's the book called?
Words That Change Minds. And there's a workbook you can get with it too that has some of the questions, and and it explains like the different motivational traits and stuff. But that's something you and I could work on in a strategy session if you want to, or even in your 15-minute, I could kind of go through some of the questions with you if you wanted.
Okay. And these are the motivational traits is like a way to discover something about the person.
Yeah.
And make sure they're the right person.
It's like, how do you frame the interview question so that you can understand based on the way they answer the question? Like, people will give you clues as to what their motivational traits are based on the way they answer the questions. So if you're somebody who, like, if you're thinking about the person that you want, do you want them to be somebody who avoids risk? And so they're always looking to like protect, the company. There's like a question around that. Versus, do you want somebody who is a risk taker? And so it's like, how do you frame that question to them? And then their answers are going to indicate some of that. Or are you motivated toward like people who are motivated towards wanting something versus away from, which is kind of the same thing. What's another one? I don't have this content in front of me off the top of my
It's
head,
okay.
but
It's okay. We can talk about it another
yeah.
time.
So you can decide to, I mean, you don't have to go down that road or not, but it is something that I know. Michelle, do you remember when you and I did this together when we were, okay, when we were Michelle and I were doing this a few years ago where we were,
Yeah, it was like 2 years ago.
she was figuring out from a hiring standpoint. And so we went through the questions, and then based on her answers to what it was that she was looking for, then it helped her kind of frame some of the questions that she was asking in the interview process. And then based on the way the person answered the question, Michelle had some insight into whether or not they were going to fit the criteria. Is that right? Would you say that was, yeah?
Yeah, and it was a really good process, and something that I kind of like took forward into my hiring process, right?
I know my hiring process is so relationship based, where I like to build a relationship with someone, and then when I feel really comfortable with them, invite them to join. It's how I find most of the people who help me at the front desk, here in the clinic, they're chiropractic patients who've already had a positive experience. I'm not certain that that's the best approach with hiring a doctor. But that's been because I know that about myself. That's why I've been kind of reaching out and trying to meet other chiropractors and other students. And I think that also really limits my ability to recruit more than just the one person that maybe I've met this year, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it limits your like recruiting pool for sure, because you're based on the relationship, which, trust your instincts too. Like if your hires have been really good hires based on that, you've got some good instincts. But if your hires have been not great hires because you're basing it on that, then it's time to do something different.
Yeah. Well, the problem is when I've hired based on just interviewing and having something more open, and not because we have a relationship, is when they haven't worked out, which is why this approach works for me.
Yeah.
I have a suggestion.
Mhm.
I've been benchmarking what I need for a long, long time. One of my closest friends is in organizational development, and I use a tool called Profiles. And so I've profiled myself. I know what my gifts and talents are, and we've benchmarked what works for me and what doesn't.
Yeah.
So everybody that comes through, huh?
I don't think I'm familiar with the term benchmarked.
Oh, benchmark, I've just identified, certain attributes that I need. So the assessment that I invite people to take, so I have an initial phone conversation. I have a 4-step process when I interview, but I like you, I like to interview people that I know and trust. But I also invite them to take a profile, an assessment. It's an assessment, but it does profile their gifts and talents, both intellectually and their capabilities. So you kind of get an idea for their IQ, their verbal reasoning, their numerical capabilities, and then, all how they move, how they see time, if they're positive, whatever. So in my business, I actually need people that are really good in both math and art, creative, which is kind of a hard thing to find. Most people are either one way or the other. They don't do both very well. So I have a limited pool within which to get from. And then the other things that I've noticed is, like for me personally, I have to have people that at least a 5 in a scale of 1 to 10 of positivity. Like if I have somebody that's negative, that doesn't work very well in my environment.
Yeah.
And I can't hire those kind of people. It's just a red flag. And then you'll find other things that are red flag. Yeah, and then when I interview people, I also share with them their profile, and I talk them through, like, these are your gifts and talents, and then these are my gifts and talents, and you need to be really clear about who you might be working with or for, because I'm not for everybody.
Yeah.
I have an incredible amount of energy. So on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm like a 9. And, I'm very positive. And certain things, I mean, I take risks that may not be comfortable for other people. You know what I mean?
In hearing you talk, Janet, it's like I that's sort of like the initial conversation I have with someone is like, here's a bot about how
Right, but here it is in writing.
wanna
Here's the numbers. You know, they
I
don't
want to make sure I
lie.
get. Yeah, I like the idea. So the assessment you give before you start your interview process, or
Well, I have an initial, you know, if I already know them, then I invite them. I say, you know, would you like to participate in an assessment? And it's third party. I pay for it, and it's online. And they, you know, answer a series of questions. And some of them are hard because they got to be able to do math. And it tests their verbal reasoning as well. And what you find out is you really kind of know, and it also checks for what they're interested in. Like, it will verify, you know, are they enterprising? Are they customer service? Are they mechanical? What are they? What do they really like?
yeah,
You know, I mean, we need to have enterprising people here. We need to have people that are customer service oriented and creative and administrative. All those things need to be there.
it sounds
You
like
know,
a
you
great.
might find somebody that you really like, but oh gosh, you know.
I would like to identify that ahead of time. If they're not
Yeah, and you know,
good
I've
with time
hired,
management, they're going to
and
get stuck.
it's
with
through
an hour with
trust.
someone.
It's through it's through trial and error. Like I hired, you know, I've had this for a while, but I didn't actually have it in the beginning. So I had already had employees, and I put them through the process. And I had one employee at the time who came in on a scale of 1 to 10. She came in on like a 2 on positivity, and I was like, ooh, huh. Well, over
Explains a lot.
time, that came to pass. You know, it was a problem.
What's the assessment? Sorry, I got a call. I had to get off for a second. But what's the assessment called?
It's called Profiles 360. It's not my
Profiles
favorite.
360?
I've done other profiles that I think are, but they're not like really for corporate. I did, Kate, you're in the real estate industry. I've been affiliated with the Brian Buffini program in the past. I was in his coaching program for 3 years, and I did his profile, his heritage profile, which I think hands down is the best thing I've ever done. And it's much more useful than this corporate thing, but it's a corporate thing. It's not a disc. It's just, you know, it's numerical, it's verbal reasoning, and then it gets into like how fast do they move. Like I had somebody who I hired, and I said, you know, you're like a 5, and the rest of us are like 7, 8s, 9s, and 10s. We're gonna wear you out. Just be prepared. Just know that if you want to come to work here, you're going to be tired, or you're not going to move fast, and you may not move fast enough, or you need to up your game if you're going to move. If you're going to work here, you're going to have to push it and be open to realizing that this environment's going to move way faster than you're comfortable with. Can you upgrade?
Wow, and to have that conversation ahead of time, that's really cool.
Yeah, I don't think people sometimes believe it though, you know, but I've come to realize it's true.
I think that's awesome. I think that's a really good thing to talk about.
We are who we are. And, you know, people, they meet me, oh, you're so nice, whatever. Yeah, but I'm really driven. I'm going to work you hard because I'm working hard too. You know, I mean, this is not for the faint of heart. You're going to love it. You're going to feel really good about yourself. But if you just want to sit at a desk all day, this is not it.
Yeah.
Well, that's some good feedback. I know that that profile that you had mentioned, I'm not familiar with that one, but there's the Colby. I know you know that because Natalie talks about it all the time.
I'm a fan of the Colby. I don't know why I took it. I was like, yeah.
But, you know, it's just a process of understanding who you are and then understanding what you need. Like, I need people who are even more positive than me.
One of the things that I did with my team, and I do with any potential, like anybody I interview, is an Enneagram test. And I've done lots of different things like strength finders and all sorts of stuff. And like strength finders, I think is good, but it is a lot of information. The Enneagram really is succinct and has like what works for this person, and this is what doesn't work for this person, and this is how to work with this person. So for example, I give any new staff, part of their onboarding is they get a copy of my Enneagram to be like, this is how you have to work with Michelle, right? If you want to stay on this team, because there's things that they will do that are an instant dismiss for me, right? And so, like, that's been really valuable, right? For people to understand, like, sometimes it's not personal. It's just, this is how I move really fast. And if you can't keep up, then you're not in the right environment. And it's not personal. Doesn't mean you're less than. It means that you and I don't work well together. So you're not gonna, like, there's no point to belabor this. Move on to your own thing. But I found the Enneagram great because it's the information you get is very succinct, and I can share the link I have. It's a free test if anybody wants it.
I'd love to see the link. I haven't found an Enneagram test that I really liked much, so I'd like to definitely
Yeah,
try.
I'll send it.
And I know Teresa McCloy does that too.
Yeah, I have a meeting with her tomorrow, actually.
I love Teresa.
I love her too.
Yeah.
And because I want to know, how do I use this information more with my team, right? Like, and how do they use it with each other more?
Well, I think there's the whole process of finding people that want to know about it and care about it and leverage it. That's a whole other story with employees, isn't it?
Right. That just that self-awareness, or like, I'm 55 and I've just realized that, oh, I'm set in a certain way. Like I have needs like that. It's taken me a really long time to figure that out. And I am fussy, and it's okay to be, I mean, that's how I've been successful, is I'm really particular. And that's not a bad thing, right? Yeah.
Not at all.
That's good.
Yeah, so interesting. This idea of like an assessment, a pre-assessment.
I use the strengths assessment, the Clifton Strengths Assessment with my team, and I like that a lot. I think it's interesting to understand people better. So maybe having a new assessment will be really beneficial in this process. Thank you.
Yeah, good.
Strength Finders is a lot of, it's almost, I gloss over, it's too much information for me. I mean, I guess if you just look at the first, 2 or 3, but
yeah,
it was too many words. I need more pictures.
I guess I look back at it from time to time. If I'm struggling with someone, then I'll go and I'll look at their words, and then I'll be like, oh, right, like this person's strength is inclusive. Like one of my employees loves to include everyone. It drives me nuts. Like everybody gets invited to everything, and I'm like, oh, but this is like her desire to like this is her superpower, which is good for somebody in the front desk whose job is to be like friendly and warm and welcoming.
Right.
But drives me nuts when she always wants to be a part of every part of my life. No, you can't come to dinner every night at my house.
Yeah.
Maybe she'll cook.
I feel like, Kristen, I want to touch base with you about this. Do you do any of this when you're hiring? Because I feel like you have like Michelle, you have a pretty big team.
Yeah, I don't. And I've thought about doing, what's the introvert extrovert one?
Oh, the Myers-Briggs.
Myers-Briggs, yeah. I've thought about that because back when I was still working with, I'm sorry, like I said, my brain is not working. What's her name? Who used to do Myers-Briggs, and now she's doing her front seat.
Oh, Jessica.
Jessica. She was doing some workshops on Myers-Briggs, and I found it really fascinating. And I felt like it did kind of give me some insight into my husband and why we come at things from completely different directions. But I haven't tried it with clients, and I think it's a fantastic idea. I mean, team members, and I think it's a fantastic idea. But I don't know much about any of the ones you guys have mentioned.
mean, I think the overarching message that I'm seeing here too is there's a lot of assessments that you could do, Goldie. It's like finding the one that really resonates with you and that, that probably is economical, like makes sense to put somebody through. But one that really does like resonate with you at a deep level so that you feel like you have some understanding of how this person's going to integrate. Because I feel like I can think of 2 others off the top of my head, like 2 other assessments. So it's just figuring out like what is the right assessment and maybe playing with that a little bit. Might be something to get really curious about right now before you think about bringing in the doctor.
Well, I think one thing I really want to make sure yes, I think the assessment's a really important thing to understand. And then Michelle, kind of what you keep saying about like looking at the profitability of the business and I want to make sure that I do structure a compensation package that is not going to make me broke in the process, which is one of the problems that happened last time. So. The wrong person, money. So,
yeah.
And then just doing it and learning from the mistakes along the way, despite. So.
I feel like it's my brother and sister-in-law have a family physician practice here in Boise, and they have the hardest time. Like their constant struggle is the employee stuff. It's just constant. They're actually looking for a doctor right now, and like the last doctor they brought in refused to wear a mask in the office, and they ended up having to let her go just because she would not wear a mask when she was seeing patients all over COVID.
Yeah.
So.
My mastermind friend sisters were like, you just don't hire. You're so happy now that you have less team. Like, oh, but I want more time.
Well, when it comes to scaling the business, right? Like, how else do you do it if you don't bring in a team? I don't know.
I don't want to.
We're all just one person. We all
Right.
have the same amount of time in a day, and yeah.
I don't want these arms to fall off. So.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Anybody else want to share anything about what they're thinking about for the rest of the year?
For me, it's just getting Anne trained and letting go, and actually self-care. I haven't been good, like summer's over and all I've done is work. I mean, I have a trainer, so I work out twice a week, and I'm really good if I have a scheduled appointment with somebody else that I honor it. But yeah, I'd really like to let go and go into the fall. I'm already in September, I'll be at my best month or best year ever in my career. So I mean, hopefully I'll keep getting business for the last quarter, but it isn't so much business driven as it is taking care of myself and getting the systems and being able to let go. Yeah. So.
Well, and also I just like in support of you, Kate, and what you need, this idea of letting go, but doing it in a way that still is going to meet that need for you. I know we talked about, the Marco Polos or some kind of way that Anne really does keep you up to date so that you're not feeling like, I don't know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The call I got when I left was my boss had called her because she's an employee internal, and the way that she described it to Anne was, just think of it as you're a mail order bride and you have to make this work out because you're married. Like you have to make, like it's like you're just meeting somebody for the first time. And now she's like she's gone from like having probably 10 loan officers and closers and process, like having 15 people that she kind of has to answer to. So now she really just has to make me happy. Like that's her one job. And I was like, okay, that's really funny. That's like, okay, mail order bride's coming. on Monday, but it's kind of a, you know, it'll fit or it won't fit, you know. But
I'm so excited for Anne to like get there so that we can see what's going to be the next
it's been a long time.
It's been a long time
Since my
coming.
birthday. Yeah, in May. Actually before that, because I was whining and complaining all of April, and then in May I finally decided. But it's been a long summer.
Yeah.
It's been a long day already.
Right? It's 10:30.
Oh my gosh.
You guys
It's
are
on the
so
downhill
funny.
slide now.
Yeah.
All right, so I don't have it in front of me
Okay.
as far as who's up for next round will be your coaching, like your spotlight coaching sessions with me. There'll be an email as to who is that. But I can say that if you've only had one, you're up next round. So there will be, everybody gets two in the, everybody gets two in the group. So, and then our last, so that'll be the second Tuesday of September, and then our fourth Tuesday of September will be another mastermind too. So be thinking of, what do you want to bring to your spotlight coaching session, and what do you want to pose in front of the group? And that actually will wrap up our 3 months. Is that right? July, August, September. That will wrap up our 3 months. So I will be asking you next month to be thinking about whether or not you want to continue in the group. If I have enough people to continue, I will continue this October, November, December. And if not, then we will bring this to a close. So that is it for me. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. I realized that I hit record late. I don't know why I'm struggling to record these calls. So I missed Kate's question that she brought into the group this morning, but this mastermind for the most part was recorded, so it'll be up and available, minus Kate's, which I thought was a really interesting discussion. So I apologize, Kate, for forgetting to hit record. I don't know what it is in my brain that it's just not connected in this group for some reason. I keep forgetting to hit record. So all right, have a great rest of your day. Think good thoughts for Janet's assistant, and talk to you all soon. Take care.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye, guys.